Hi there, welcome to Christmas Cheer Central by Nicole B. Stampin'. I'm Nicole Black. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and an avid fan of the holidays. It's August, and this time of month I like to plan my Christmas card designs. I usually send around 200 handmade cards each year, but I usually only make about 20 or 30 of each design, so I don't get bored. So I'm gonna be sharing with you over the next couple months my different designs, along with other cards. I won't do just Christmas cards. Today I'm gonna use Stampin' Up's Iconic Celebrations Suite to show you how I make my first Christmas card design of the season. I will show you then how versatile this suite is. So the Iconic Celebration Suite is an online exclusive, so you won't find it in the catalog if you're looking for it. And I want to show you the elements that come inside of it. The first item, of course, is a stamp set, Iconic Imagery. And you can see I love the versatility of this. You've got leaves and snowflakes and trees and candles. So you've got all sorts of different images here. And you can bundle with it the die set that coordinates. In the die set, you've got different labels here, and then a way to cut out each of the iconic images in the stamp set as well. The suite also includes designer series paper, and the designer series paper is actually a 6x6 design in this suite, and you get 4 sheets of each of its two-sided designs. So you can see, as usual, it's 2 sides, and you can just see all of the very cute images that is included in this and the versatility of it. So you see you've got Christmas, and you've got wine glasses and hearts and acorns, and the colors you're seeing here are Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, you've got Misty Moonlight in here, you've got some Moody Mauve, Mossy Meadow, and Pecan Pie in these images. So you can kind of see how widely versatile this set is, and I really love it. I was taken with it immediately, hence why I'm using it as my first Christmas card of the season. Also included in this pack is we have a frayed gross grain ribbon, and it's white, but what I love about the white ribbons when you get them is you can actually color them. You can use your sponge or you can use the Stampin' Blends, and you can actually color this whatever color you want. Today I will actually be leaving it white, but I love that versatility that they provide. And then finally, the suite includes these very beautiful Pecan Pie and clear ribboned adhesive back dots. And if I move it a little closer here, can you see the ribboned design inside of them, which adds just a nice little texture to the designs. Okay, so the card that we're going to make today is this Christmas card. And you can see I've used the trees and some of the labels and I'm going to show you all these. And of course I've got my envelope, because you gotta have an envelope with your card, right? So I'm going to walk through and show you how to design this card. I am going to start with my base, and my base is a Mossy Meadow and is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get it squared off here to fold, and I'm going to use my bone folder here to seal it off. We have that base ready. We are doing it at a horizontal, so I've got my base ready. All right, the next thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to stamp my Christmas trees. So I have just a piece of white scrap of paper here, and then I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow, and I'm actually bringing in Old Olive because I want a contrast between the trees. And what's fun is we have a tree that's a little flatter of a design and then more of a outline design, and so I'm going to use both of those. So my flat design I'm going to put in the Old Olive for a lighter color. Get that stamped on there, and then I need 2 for my card, so I'm going to go ahead and stamp 2. I like to stamp a third one for good measure. If my die shifts or something, I don't want to have to come back to the ink later, so I always throw on a couple extra there just to make sure. All right, so I'm taking the outline stamp, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stamp in Mossy Meadow, and you can just line them up here like so. And that wasn't a great lineup. Another reason why to stamp a couple extra. And that old olive will dry a little darker than it is right now, so it is a little difficult to see the layers here, but those will differentiate themselves a little better as they dry. Okay, so now I have my stamped trees, and the next piece on here is a strip. So I'm actually using, out of my designer papers, I'm using these two designs here, okay, and I'm gonna cut those up, and the first piece is to cut a strip here, and I have my strip that is actually a 5.5, so it's the length of the card by 1.5. So you can see how it fits perfectly on the front of that card there. Okay, so 5.5 by 1.5. All right, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna do my die cutting. So one of the things I'm gonna die cut out, I'm gonna use this design here with my die cuts. I'm gonna actually die cut out a large of the banners. So I'm gonna, and you can cut this down to a particular size, or the 6x6, which I love, fits right through the Big Shot as it is. So I can just kind of set that up and run that through. So I'm gonna die cut that. I'm gonna die cut my trees, of course. So I have my tree die. I'm gonna die cut my trees. I also want 3 small banners. So I'm gonna use my white scrap, and I'm actually gonna die cut out 3 of those. And then finally, I wanted to do some branches. So we have, what I love, and I love Stampin' Up! Does this, is they included 2 branches in the die cut pack. So one of them is gonna go out of my white, and one of them is gonna go out of, I've got some cherry cobbler scrap here, and you can see this is one of those pieces I use for a lot of die cutting. So I've got I'm gonna do 2 of those on there. So I want 1 white one, and I actually used 2 red ones. And so I'm gonna, by magic of TV, I am going to die cut those out for you here. I'm gonna, let me clear this off, and then magic of TV, poof, look, they're die cut. So we've got my banner here. I've got my 2 trees. I've got my white branch, and that's hard to see, sorry about that. It's hard to see on the white on white, there it is. And then I've got my red branches. I got 2 of those, and then I've got my 3 small banners ready to go. Now you'll notice that on the card itself, I've actually stamped on the small banners, but I die cut them first. For me, I find it's easier with clear stamps to line up the stamp when I stamp it on the label than it is to make sure that my label doesn't move through the Big Shot. So that's why I do it that way. That's really a user's choice. You may want to choose to stamp those in advance and then die cut them. That is absolutely up to you. So we are using the words peace, love, and joy. And I'm actually going to do peace and joy in a mossy meadow. And then I'm all gonna do the love in a cherry cobbler here. So I'm gonna go ahead and stamp those. Whoops, I'm dropping my stamps. Ink that up, just double check I've got a good post there. All right, and I'm gonna line up my label here and stamp. There's my piece. And again, usually I actually, and you'll see here, I actually die cut a bunch of extras because, you know, I don't want to have to go back to the die if I mess up. So I sometimes just go ahead and die cut. Just like I stamp extras before cutting, I also die cut extras before stamping. So I can be prepared. All right, and my final one is joy. There, perfect. Those came out great. So see how easy it is to line up that clear stamp onto this. But if you're not really good with that, you can totally do it the other direction and it works just as well. All right, so now I've got all my die cuts. I've got those joy stamped. What else do I have? Well, I have a couple of things, right? So I had on my card, and I don't know if you remember, I had actually stamped 3 trees in the corner here. So I want to go ahead and stamp those. Again, I'm using the outline tree and mossy meadow, and I like to stamp off first, just because I like the look of how it's more of a continuous pattern than a planned 3 fitting. I don't know, that's just me. You can put them all on there. That is completely up to you. So I have, and that's the last of my stamping, but I do have one more element on here, and that's the circle. So the circle I'm actually bringing in, and I'm using the 2 by 3/8 circle punch with some basic beige. So I am going outside of the suite for my circle, but other than that, everything we've done has been inside of the suite. And there's my circle. All right, so I've got all my little pieces stamped and punched and die cut, and I am ready to go to do some assembly. So I'm gonna bring my base over here, and I'm gonna lay out my pieces so I have them all ready to go. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually take my strip and I'm going to tape it onto the, and of course my tape, I'm taping, so of course my tape is not going to work for me. I'll bring in another tape. I'm going to just add some tape to the back of my strip. And I am going to, I like to line it up with one edge, leaving my gap, and walk it over to the other. All right, my strip is down. Now I want to add in my label. So this big label, I'm actually going to use dimensionals. I've got some of the regular size dimensionals here, and I'm just going to use 4 of them on each corner and get them stuck on there. All right, get rid of my little pieces. And I'm going to put it, and I'm putting it right in the center, and I'm kind of lining up where that bend comes in with the top of my strip. So I'm going to just lay that in right there. The next piece I'm going to put on here is actually my ribbon, and you'll notice I didn't actually cut it yet. What I tend to do, especially if I'm making for myself, is I'll kind of measure it out right on the fly, and then I'll bring in my snips and cut it straight from the spool, because that just saves me any waste. All right, and this piece I'm gonna have run right through the center again. And what I do here is I actually just bring out my Scotch tape, my handy dandy Scotch tape here, and I'm gonna just Scotch tape it right down to my label in the center. So that way I know these ends are loose and they'll look nice and loose, but when I adhere my circle over top of it, it'll hide my tape and secure that ribbon really well. All right, so now before I actually put the circle down, you'll remember I actually have 2 branches behind here. And so I want to put those on. Again, I cheat just a little. I don't think it's really cheating, but I want to make sure they hold right where I want them to. And so I'm going to put them where I want them, what I want them to look like here on my circle from the front. And then while holding it, I'm doing this out of camera shot. I apologize for that. I get them right where I want them. And then while holding them, I'm going to flip them over. I got to grab my Scotch tape here. And again, I'm just going to Scotch tape them to the back here to make sure they hold nice and well right to my circle. So, all right, here we go. Okay, so now my circle's ready to go on, and I'm gonna pull out my dimensionals again, and I'm gonna stick a few dimensionals on here. 1, 2, 3. Oops. It helps to take the whole dimensional. All right, get the backs off of these, and I am going to adhere this right over top of my ribbon. Ta-da! All right. So what do we got next? So I've got my, I got my mini labels that I want to do next, because they're the main piece, the main center of my circle here. So I like to do what the main pieces for my positioning, and then add the rest of the components around it. For these guys, I'm not going to use my regular dimensionals. I'm actually going to bring out my mini dimensionals, because these are a little smaller and that saves me from cutting. But if you only have the big dimensionals or the regular size dimensionals, you can snip those in half and they work just fine. But since I have them, I should use them, right? All right, so I've got 3 here, and I've got my dimensionals on the back of them. So I say peace, love, joy on there. So I do it in this order. Peace, love, joy. I prefer to start in the center because that gives me a good setup. So I have my love that I put in the center of my circle, but I put it a little more over to the side. So I'm basically lining it up with my ribbon because I know that's in the center as well. So there's my love. So then peace goes on next. And I'm gonna put peace above my love. And then I have joy. And I'm gonna put joy below. Right there. Perfect. Cute, right? All right, so now I've got my trees and 1 branch left. So what do I do with these? So the branch, you'll notice I actually have this branch going underneath the joy. You could do this 2 different ways if you want. You could have actually hooked the branch onto the joy before you adhered it with the Scotch tape like I did. Or what I'm gonna actually do here is I'm going to take a glue dot and I am going to put my little branch on the glue dot, and I know that's tiny, and pull it up here. And then I am going to slide it right under my joy and adhere it down. So that way it goes over top of my love and under my joy. I'm also going to use my dimensionals, and on one of my trees, I'm going to put the dimensional on the far right side of my tree. And I'm actually going to adhere that tree right to my circle as with a glue dot. Okay. And then my final tree, I'm going to flip over here and I'm going to use my mini glue dots. I'm going to stick one on the back. Again, you can use your big glue dots if you wish. And I'm going to offset it. Let's see here, I'm gonna go down because there's more room down. And I'm gonna set it down here. Cute, right? All right, 1 final piece. Of course, I love my bling. So I'm gonna bring in my bling, our adhesive backed ribboned dots, and I'm gonna take the big, and I know a lot of people use tools for this. My favorite tools for these are my nails, but everybody to their own. I'll slide that right off and add. So I'm putting 2 right there. And there we go. We have our first Christmas card of the season. What do you think? All right, I was gonna bring the envelope back in, but oh, here it is. Here's the envelope. I did just stamp a shadowed tree. So there's our Christmas card. Now, I talked about how versatile this set is. So I want to show you some other cards that I made from the same set. So it's the same set and it's the exact same design. The layout is exactly the same. So I took this exact concept and I applied it for other seasons. So I have here, I have fall. So this could be fall. This is actually I think is a Thanksgiving card. So I've got grateful for you, and you can see that exact same design coming through here on the card. We've got winter. So I like these for people who maybe aren't a Christmas person, but I still want to send them a card and let them know I'm thinking about them. And so here's a nice little winter, and I added the bling on the snowflakes here because, you know, that just makes them sparkle like snowflakes sparkle. We can even move into February here, and I've got a Valentine's Day card, and it's maybe a little hard to see, but I've got a bunch of hearts running down here and around on my card. And then finally, I did an all occasion type of birthday card. So here's a birthday card for someone using our candles. There, and that is the Iconic Celebrations Suite. I hope you all enjoyed the cards you saw today. I had fun making them. Be sure to check out my blog for how to get this suite for yourself, and be sure to follow my blog to see more that I post. Until next time, happy holidays.